can't predict injuries. Injuries are fluky. Why would you expect the 49ers to have another injury-plagued season? And then we work from there. Well, the Niners, really, their roster is fantastic. I mean, when healthy, they have one of the better rosters in the league. I mean, maybe the Niners are Super Bowl contenders. And then they get hurt every year. And then it's like, well, maybe we should have seen this coming. Well, someone on Twitter, I want to give the guy his proper accreditation, but I forget his name. I'll let you know later. Send me a DM showing the Football Outsiders way of tracking injuries by team. They call it average games lost to injury. And the Niners show the ranks the Niners were at. And they were at the bottom part of the league until 2012. 2012, they had the fewest games lost to injuries in the league. And that's when they went to the Super Bowl. And then in 2013, something changed. I'm asking you, what do you think that is? Because since 2013, the Niners have been top 10 each year, 8 years in a row, in average games lost to injury. Top 10. How is that possible? Last year, they were number 1. How can the Niners have that type of bad luck 8 years in a row? That's almost a decade. That's unfathomable. You figure just the law of averages would mean the Niners would have one of those years where they were healthy. But no, they haven't. So I'm asking you, what do you think it is? I mean, probably it's not one thing, but I'm going to try my best. It seems to be, what happened in 2013? What was different in 2013? Well, 2013 was the year that Trent Baalke started drafting redshirt players. And when I say redshirt players, I mean guys who were injured when they got drafted, not expected to contribute at all as rookies. In the second round, he drafted Tank Carradine, who had a torn ACL. And then in the fourth round, he drafted Marcus Lattimore, who had basically a mangled knee. That was the beginning of this. So 2013, they took 2 redshirt guys. 2014, they take 2 again. Marcus Martin in round 3, Brandon Thomas in round 3. 2015, they take 1. DeAndre Smelter in round 4. 2016, they take 1. Will Redmond in round 3. So it seems to me that was the beginning of it. Obviously, it's continued. Now the Niners don't draft redshirt players anymore. They draft guys with extensive histories of injuries. That's what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have been doing up until this year. I mean, Nick Bosa, extensive injury history. Javon Kinlaw came in with knee tendonitis. Deebo Samuel had a bunch of injuries in college. Jalen Hurd. I mean, last year, the Niners didn't have their first, second, and third round picks from 2019, and they're all young. So they shifted from taking guys who are injured to guys who have been injured a lot. And finally, this year, it looks like, I'm trying to be positive, they stopped drafting the halt and lame, the guys who can't stay healthy on a football field. Everyone except for Talanoa Hufanga, the 5th round safety, is durable. And at least Hufanga isn't injured right now. So my best guess as to what has happened the last 8 years, it spanned different general managers, different coaches, but I think there's been an organizational decision, an organizational philosophy, sort of like how the Niners haven't drafted a cornerback since in higher than round 3 since 2004. That spans a lot of head coaches. That's like the entire York, basically since the Yorks took over in 2005, correct? No, they took over before then. Mike Nolan took. So anyway, the Yorks got burned, I want to say, by drafting guys like Ahmed Plummer, Mike Rumpf, and Shante Spencer. So they haven't drafted a cornerback earlier than round 3 since then. Now, I feel like they had an organizational decision in 2013 that durability is overrated. That the rest of the league was too worried about injuries in football. Injuries happen. They're unpredictable. And medical science has gotten so good. Surgeries have become so good that players bounce back. So while the rest of the league is avoiding injury-prone players, the Niners are seeking them out. Instead of looking at them as a liability, I think for 8 years, the Niners looked at them as like an opportunity. I'm not an economist. What is it called when there's like a market inefficiency? I don't know what the word is, but they think that there was actually good value there. These guys are being artificially pushed down because of outdated ideas about recovery and science and medical rehabilitation. So we'll get these guys and they'll recover and we'll get all these values in round 2, 3, 4 that other teams aren't getting. So while other teams are drafting mediocre players in round 2, 3, 4, we're getting first round talents who are injured. I think the Niners actually tricked themselves to thinking that injuries are no big deal, that their training staff is the best. They have Stanford. They have all these things, and they can totally disregard injuries. In fact, they can invest in these players, and it'll make them better. Does that sound right to you? I really think from Jed York to Parag Marath down, they've been telling these GMs and coaches, look, don't worry about getting players with the injury history. That works for us. We can't compete in the open market for the best players. Let's get guys who have an injury history, like Quan Alexander. Otherwise, they're not going to want to sign in Santa Clara and pay the taxes and live in a duplex. I think that's what it is. 8 years ago, Parag Marath decided injuries aren't a big deal. They are a big deal. And I think that maybe the 49ers finally get it, that they need to prioritize durability. They need to actually take it seriously, and just signing a bunch of players who are injured or injury prone and saying, hey, man, maybe we'll get some good luck, is fluky, is diluted. So I think the Niners might be figuring it out. That's my spiel. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.